Good morning. Welcome. This is Rich with Unlimited Cards. If you are here, you are well off the beaten path. You're in the shadows of Pride Rock land. I am a nobody. How do I want to start this? Let's start this way. So, I used to work in the mental health kind of area or space at a mental institution. And a big thing that you do there is you hold groups with people to just kind of help them get a voice out and help them understand about themselves or other people. I mean, we as humans, we live in this echo chamber and we watch things through our own kaleidoscope, and we have our own algorithms being pushed at us. So our world is what we know, and we forget that there are other people or other things out there. So it's good to have these groups. And I remember I was working with someone one time, and before I went into it, they said, speak from the heart, which is absolutely kind of amazing. Especially when you're supposed to have like some kind of hard conversation. And it's not just in that space, it's with relationships, maybe a wife or a husband or, a friend or something like that. If you just tell yourself, speak from the heart before you enter into a conversation, no matter how hard it is, already you're setting the tone for like how you're going to move forward, right? So it's kind of like, have you ever seen those videos of like salt, right? We're just like looking at salt. I love looking at salt. You guys ever watch Salt? Yeah. No. There's these videos of salt on a table, right? Or like some kind of metal platform, and they run different sounds and vibrations through it, and the salt will form into different shapes. It's the wildest thing ever. I don't know what you look up, formation of salt or whatever, but people really need to understand that, water is everywhere, minerals are everywhere, and these things form to different like feelings or vibes or vibrations. I know, we're getting into a crazy space here. This is about trading cards. Have you guys guessed yet? And when you dive into this kind of space, you understand like we are surrounded by this stuff, right? It's kind of like when you have a plant, if you're yelling at the plant versus if you're speaking nicely to the plant, it will actually grow in different ways. If you yell at a plant, it's probably going to be small. It's going to be in a negative energy. It's not going to be as fruitful. I don't know if this is really black or white, but if you speak nicely to it, you have a better chance, a way better chance, possibly 100% of the time, of having like a bigger, nicer, more healthier plant. And what was the book that it was like Words with Water or something? I don't know. I forgot what the book was. And there was these Japanese scientists that what they did was they froze like water, right? And they would like one bottle of water, they would yell at it. One bottle of water, they'd speak nicely to it, and they'd throw it in the freezer, pull it out, and they'd take out a little piece and see it under the microscope. And they claim every single time, thousands of discoveries, every single time the water that they spoke nicely to showed beautiful formed crystals, different shapes, fully formed, and the water that they yelled at was broken up crystals that just weren't formed totally, and it has fractures, and there's different pictures in the books too that you can see. So we really think about that and we apply it to our lives of just how many times we have completely beaten the energy that's around us or in our lives just because we've taken, a negative path or whatever. And so when you go into like one of these conversations, speak from the heart, you're changing the vibration in your body. You're changing like your being, yourself, and you're becoming something else, something, quote unquote better, right? We consider it better. That's what this conversation is all about, though, is it really? So I'm going to go through a scenario that I just went through here. Literally nobody watches these videos, so I can say whatever the hell I want. It's actually kind of nice. I mean, I was just looking at this short of someone who makes like tens of millions of dollars on YouTube, which is obviously not me. And I wonder, like, what's better? Is it better to have tons of money and just like stress yourself out every single day, or just being me and saying whatever the hell you want on the videos because nobody watches them? If you're watching this, you are probably the only person. So, congratulations, you're special. I had this issue so I was selling cards. I was looking for a card that I had sold to someone, right? And I couldn't find it anywhere. I mean, this comes up quite a few times. I don't like canceling orders. I like finding a way, whether it's driving to the nearest store or getting it shipped where I know it's going to come to me very quickly. I like fulfilling the orders that people are buying from me. I don't like canceling. Maybe possibly I do that one day, but I just don't do that right now. And I'm looking for it. It was the Myco Tyrant, right? Like a foily showcase version or whatever. I don't know. People buy the heck out. I don't even know what the card does. Maybe it's a good card. People love it. So, but I'm looking for this card and it's nowhere to be found. And sometimes I'll misplace them. You put like a multicolor, even with like an artifact or something like that, because the boxes are near each other. You have a lot of different ways of failure, or you could just misplace it, accidentally send it to someone and they never tell you, you never know, or, there's so many different things that can happen. And I'm looking, I'm so frustrated. I'm like, fine, I got to get this card, and I put forth like different kind of plans of action to get the card so I could send it out as fast as quickly for this person. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? I was so frustrated. I was having a clunky day too. Just things are going wrong left and right. And I'm a chess player, so I love to play chess, right? And I decided, what the heck? I'm going to play a chess game, get my mind off things, and then go out for the day. I start playing this chess game, and I'm winning. I'm clearly winning, right? And I completely screw it up and just completely get bashed. I think it ended up being like a draw, but I was completely winning. And I was so frustrated. This is why I don't care that nobody's watching. So just lay it out on the line. I am so frustrated that I pounded the desk that I work at. And like, I have piles of cards on my desk. It's a mess, right? And I'm trying to, like, I've opened up a TCG player a couple months ago. I got my eBay going. I'm figuring stuff out. I'm trying to organize and just, make things work, right? And I pound the desk, and there's this pile of Flesh and Blood cards sitting there, and it goes everywhere. And the Flesh and Blood cards, you're looking at them and the back is facing up towards you. And they're facing down. And there was one card in that pile that flipped over. And it was the flipping Myco Tyrant. How it ended up inside that pile of cards, I have no idea, right? But it was the only one that flipped over. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh my, all of a sudden, I'm not frustrated anymore. And I got thinking about this, and I'm like, That chess game was what I would consider a negative thing that happened to me. But it led me on a path where something positive happened down the road. And that's the kicker to this whole thing. Now, of course, that's a very small scale things. A lot more devastating things can happen to us. They have happened to me before, and probably even more devastating things have happened to other people. And it's a sad reality. But all in all, you look at this situation and it's kind of ironic, right? And so it got my mind thinking, like, how many times in my life did some kind of negative experience, the way I perceive it is negative, bring me down the tunnel towards a light where something very positive happened? And I can probably pick a few, but really most of them, I don't even know, right? I just see the negative experience and I'm like, my life sucks when it happens. But we don't think about like what in turn it can bring. Here's kind of why I want to bring this up, is that it's just simply not worth it to dwell in the negativity, because frankly, these negative experiences could be bringing you to a quote unquote better place, quote unquote. Some of these are life crushing events. I get it. But I mean, I think about some of the darker things that have happened in my life, and yeah, it sucked, and I still think about them. And on top of that, I am aware that they can happen, which that alone, that knowledge and that power kind of just helps me to, point it out if someone's headed down that path, or just kind of like avoid it if it comes up again in my life. So in a way, you've learned and you've grown, which means not only do we need the positive experiences, but we need the negative experiences. And that's how we grow. I have a friend who, not mentioning names, who used to live in a very torrential family, got very physical with his dad, his mom didn't care about his brothers, sisters didn't care about him. He was a mess. He would always smell bad in high school. He was always made fun of. And he just had this shitty family that he lived with. And I look at him now, and this isn't everybody, of course, in the world, but he is like far better off than any of the people that we know here, because he learned a lot of really hard lessons at first. Now, I know that some of these things are just soul crushing for people and they crush their lives. And I'm a little bit all over the place with this video, but I just kind of wanted to put it out there that, like, if you try something and it doesn't work, or if you go through a situation that's really devastating to you, maybe it's going to bring some kind of good in the future. Does that make the experience good? It doesn't. But you learn, right? And you move forward. So, like, for example, yeah. Nobody cares. Dude, I bought this. I have one. Years ago. And it's literally tanked like halfway in price. So what do? Say, screw this sucks? I mean, there's a reason why I bought it. If you're saying, screw this sucks, and selling it at a loss, obviously the reason to buy this was not good enough. But you still learn, right? What did I learn? Well, I learned that I overpay for things. I definitely did when I first started this. I've learned that this can take longer than you think, and it may never come back. Patience, understanding, really thinking about when I want to purchase something, is it something I want to move forward with? Like, these are all learning pieces, right? But I didn't have that before I bought this. So you have to go through the hard times. You have to go through the dark times. You have to go through the mistakes in order to grow and learn. Am I like the smartest person in the world that everybody should listen to? No, I'm not. Frankly, if you're listening to me this far in the video, like, I think the only person that's going to listen to me this far in the video is me, right? If you're listening this far, like, oh my gosh. I never tell people to comment, but I'm so curious if people actually make it to the end of my videos. I don't think they do. YouTube tells me they don't, average-wise, but it would be great if someone made it this far. If not, I can say whatever the hell I want. Boobies, you know? You cannot just discredit the negative times, and you have to use them to your advantage by understanding what you learned, what you took out of it, and that's how you grow and learn. This is why, like, when you're younger, most people are going to tell you haven't learned yet, you haven't figured it out, and frankly, there's truth to that. And frankly, when you're 60 years old, there are things that you've never learned and you still need to figure out. But there's a higher probability of it when you're younger. So really just going out there, having the experiences, go and fail, go, as long as you're not in too dark of a situation that completely maims you and changes your life in a really dark light, you can really, even some of those you can learn and you can grow from them, but just take the things, the bad things that have happened to you and try and understand, like, what good came out of it. And it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do. And me talking about this card is just, that is like such a small scale, right? It's different than that. It's different. With bigger things. But you still need to reflect on them and understand how to move forward. And so now when I look at the market, here's kind of like just the end piece. This is a blown over video of just a bunch of random talking, but trying to get a point across here. I have moved away from just buying impulsively to buying with thought, right? Look at some of the prices of these elite trainer boxes in Pokemon. I mean, look at everything. Look at the Pokemon boxes. Look at what happened this year. These are at what, 150 bucks? This is a 2020 era product from 5 years ago. And one of the favorites of that era for people because of the Charizards that are in it. And you're telling me that these are $150? Something in my mind said, this is undervalued. And the only reason I got to that point was because I bought this impulsively, lost my ass, and learned how to buy moving forward. If this never goes up in price, the one person that's watching here, please make fun of me like a year or two later. But I think these are undervalued. Champion's Path, baby. Does that mean you should go out and buy? No, that would be impulsive. Learn from your experiences, grow, move forward. That's all I'm saying. And this is where I'm at, and this is what I've been buying lately. So there you go. Now you know.